What is the difference between appending a dataset and merging a dataset?
Appending is more of a sort of, wherein like it is adding observations based on a particular primary key. Wherein merging is how to say, is it like
joining datasets?
Yeah, it is similar to joining datasets. Well, in case of appending, it is not only one primary key, it is just you need the same set of variables. It is like stacking data sets together, right? Stacking your observations together, so you will it would make more logical sense if you have the same set of variables but different observations in it. Correct?
Yeah.
So and in case of merging, you will need one unique primary ID using which you should be able to merge or you club the values of a couple or more than two datasets. And in case of merge,
irrespective of whether they match.
correct. So in case of merge, you can have a different set of variables and different set of observations, but you should have at least one common ID. The primary key has to be there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was about merging and appending datasets that we did yesterday. Can anybody tell me what is an outer merge and what is an exact merge?
My exact merge is when you merge only the common observations.
Yeah.
And the outer merge is when we are merging the uncommon observations.
Yes, that's right.
It shows the uncommon.
Yeah, so when you merge two data sets and if you want to merge only those observations which are common between the two data sets, then you do an exact merge. And if you want to merge the observations which are uncommon in both the data sets, only then you do your outer merge, right? Yeah, so that was about merging the data sets and appending data sets. What is the option that you use when you try to append two data sets which have got uncommon variables?
We use this outer merge.
No, I'm saying what is the option that you use when you're trying to merge, when you're trying to append two data sets which have got uncommon variables?
Will you set
yeah, you can use data and set statement and have multiple sources and a single destination, and you can create a union of the data set. It's also again a little similar to appending, but in case of proc append, what option would you use? Yes, you use a force option to force append datasets which have got which don't have all similar variables. You have some different variables between the datasets. Yeah. Okay, quickly just solve this question. can just write a code to do this. It would be desirable if you would take, do the required procedures or steps to understand what is there in these two data sets. Whatever procedure you feel is relevant to use that procedure to find out what is the brief understanding of the variables and observations of the data sets, and then go ahead with merging them. So here are the two simple questions. Just write a simple code. If you want a quick understanding of what is the structure of these two data sets, which procedure would you use?
Contents.
Yes, that's right.
But we can write the code because it's already created.
Yeah, you just have to do a proc append or merge, whatever it is. It's just you do proc contents only to get an sense of the type of variables, number of variables, and number of observations. Is it done?
Yeah, I'm running.
Let me know once it's done. Then you can just go ahead with the topics like proc means and proc summary.
I think I've done something wrong with getting errors.
Can you share your screen with me, Arpita? I'll just make you the presenter.
Maybe some spelling mistakes.
No, don't worry. That is the only way to learn.
I need not have to copy it from apps.
No, you don't have to copy it. See, you can use it directly from your maps library. So you have a maps library, right? Go to your libraries. SAS help. Open SAS help. Okay, you don't have it. Alright, you have only SAS help. Well, then you will not be able to do this because this dataset is in maps library. So you will have
So
some.
this data set statement won't be there.
No, this one. Just you can just what you can do is you can just write a code. So yes, your proc append looks fine, except that it has to have library referencing. That is maps.mexico and maps.mexico1. The first two steps need not be there. Data and set statement you don't need to have, and then you can just write a code to merge similarly.
So it won't produce
Uma,
the required output.
Yeah, you will not be able to execute it. Yeah. Yes, Shashi, you were saying something?
I got an error message saying, it cannot run, it cannot write access to member maps.mexico. So, is it because, I'm overwriting a library?
Yes, this is when you're trying to do merge or append.
I'm doing appending thing.
Yeah. So that you would get that message because we are using a built-in library, so you won't be able to directly do it there. You have to create just a temporary data set in your work and then append that. Yeah, so what type of merge is this, Arpita?
It's an inner mode.
Yeah, so it has observations of all the data sets mentioned in your merge statement. Okay, I'm just taking the control again. Yeah, so your code would look something like this. You will have to write.
I see your screen.
Oh, okay, sorry. For some reason, I'm not able to reclaim the presenter role. Let me try doing it this way.
I think
From your end, can you just yeah. I can say it now.
yes.
So you would say yeah, and then you would create the data set. Mexico 2. And then you do a Proc Append. Base equals Mexico and data equals Mexico 2. Shashi, can we once I discuss this code, can we just share your screen to see the execution?
Yeah.
But you said we don't need to write the
Yeah, that is because currently you don't have right access to maps library. It is because of this library that we are using. So what happens is your Mexico 2 values, that is all the observations of this, will get appended to Mexico, right? And this currently we don't have access to access to write anything on the datasets in these libraries. Otherwise, in real time when you're working, you don't need to do that. Okay. See, in this case, I'm not doing it because here I'm not doing anything. I'm not manipulating the data in my original datasets which are there in maps library. Because I'm creating a new dataset. Yeah, so even before you do any of this, it would be a good practice to do raw contents of the dataset.
We need a force statement as well in this appending.
Yeah, that's the trick thing. That is because there would be uncommon
Different
variables. Yeah. So you'll be able to figure that out once you do a raw contents.
Yeah.
Similarly before your merge as well. Alright, this is how the code would look like. So what I can do is I can even select the entire set of codes and click on run. On the safer side, I'm using the force option as well.
I think you have typed 2 twice in the last.
Oh yeah, so that's going to throw me an error now. Yeah, so you can please try this proc means procedure, which will help you get the summary statistics.
It's giving like standard deviation, minimum and maximum.
So what are those, how many values is it giving? Is it giving only standard deviation, minimum, maximum, anything else?
Number of, I think, n and
Yeah, so by default it will result in 5 statistical values. That is, n is a number of values, right? And then you have means, the mean value, that is the average, and then you have a median value, and you have minimum and maximum. Am I right?
so by default it gives like 5 values.
Yeah, by default it will give you only these 5 statistics. Yes, but you can make changes to it. You can specify the statistics that you want to be available for your report or your result. And this is giving for how many variables?
I think all the way, those which have like numeric values.
Yeah, so all numeric values like your price, invoice, and mileage, so on and so forth, the horsepower, cylinders, all for all the numeric values you'll be getting the means result.
Yeah, got it.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Let me just stop this execution. Run this code. Yeah, so can you try out a code wherein I say, okay, find the proc means for variables cylinders and horsepower only. Can you just try your hands at that? I'll share the code with you. So
Yeah, it's just we need to use the var keyword. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, so how do you do that?
Just we need to use the var keyword for that.
Yeah, you have used a var statement, data, dataset name, and then you use a var statement where you specify the variable names, cylinders and horsepower run. So by doing this, you will get the proc means result only for the specified variables, that is cylinders and horsepower.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is my earlier run. The current run is still being executed. Can you share your screen, Arpita? Can I make you the presenter? Yeah. Yeah, go to your results window, please. Go to your results. Yeah. So here we have n mean, that is n is number of observation, that number of values in the observation, mean, standard deviation, minimum and maximum. So by default these are the 5 default statistics that you will get when you run a proc means procedure. And here we have listed only for 2 variables. That's why we are getting the result only for 2 variables, cylinders and horsepower. Right? So
But in the earlier code, Uma, it was showing variable name also.
yeah, here also we have the variable name, right? Cylinders and horsepower.
No, like it was showing me.
Can you run that code again, please?
Label.
Yeah, that is in case any variable has a label, then it will show the label also. If you notice, we have used cylinders and horsepower, right? So these two don't have the label. That's the reason it's not displaying the label. Yeah, can you go back to the result window? Okay, so as we're saying, so what is the mean? Is nothing but the average. It is the sum of all divided by the number. And minimum and maximum values are again what is you would get an idea by this report. You would get an idea. Okay, the mileage per gallons in city minimum is 10 and maximum is 60, right? Similarly on highway minimum is 12 and maximum is 66, and the average is 20 or 27, correct? So it becomes very helpful to get an understanding of the distribution of your data as to where the values are, where are your most of your values concentrated, what is the kind of values most of your observations are having, correct? And you will also get to know what is you will also get to have an idea of what the average value is and how far are the other values distributed around the average. Okay, and if you notice the number of values, the n value for each and every variable here is 428. So that that clarifies one important thing, that there are no missing values. right? So in case there were any missing values, I think there are 2 missing values in cylinders,
Yeah, it should.
right? So it is not the number of observations. So your n value here is not the number of observations, it is the number of values in each of those variables. So in cylinders it is 426 and in the rest of them it is 428. So now you know that in under cylinders variable there are 2 missing values, right? So to get a sense of the distribution of your data and the values around which the observations are having, so you can use your proc means procedure. Is that clear? So what we'll see now is we'll also see as to what do we do in case we want some other statistical value other than the default values that we have here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shashi, you're able to run and get the result?
Yeah. Got them.
Yeah, great. Yeah. So we have the result here. Let's go back to the code. So we have seen here that we can specify only those variables for which we want to view the result, correct? And what do I do if I want to specify only certain specific statistics that I want the result for? So I do proc means dataset name, yeah, and then after this I specify specify the statistics that I want to extract. So let's say I want a median, one mean, and I want let's just where just put in noise and MSR. Yeah, and when you're explicitly mentioning the statistics that you want, like the way we are doing it here, median and mean, your default values will not be there. Okay, the default what you had, the 5 different statistics, will not be there. Now it will be only median and mean.
It's giving only those two parameters, two statistics.
Yeah, so you will have the result only for these four variables
Mean and median.
with statistics of mean and median. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so what will this result in? So in case, okay, in case I want to know the number of observations and one n miss. What is meant by n miss? Is it will give you the missing values. You can try it out. N miss gives you the number of. Yes, Arpita?
Number of the n is the number of all the values, and n miss are the missing values.
Yes, yes. N miss are the missing values, and n is the number of all the values that are present. The reason we are explicitly mentioning n again is because once we specify any of the statistical options here, our default values will not be getting, right? So that's the reason you'll have to specify.
There are no missing values.
Yeah, that's right. So now what if I ask you that what is the minimum and maximum mileage in city for different makes of cars, right? We have different makes of cars. We have BMW, we have Toyota, and so on and so forth, right? So by different values of car makes, I want to know the mileage, the minimum and maximum of the mileage. So how will I be able to do that? Yeah, what should I do for that? Any guess?
Min max.
Yes, I'll have to specify min and max. Or if I don't, by default I will get it in any case in my result. So I say PG city and PG highway, and after this I'll have to use, yeah, Shashi, what did you say?
I thought by,
Yeah, yeah, you can use by also. We'll just come to that. You can use your by statement as well. So you can use either a class statement or a by statement. So let's see how we can use a class. Then we have to say class and the categorical variable by which we want to categorize the results. So here's the result of my earlier run, which is giving just median and mean. You can write it this way, or you can even say by make. Okay, first let's run a class statement. Let me just not specify the second one and see how what the result looks like.
Giving minimum and maximum for all the names.
Yeah, so I'll just share your screen, Arpita.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what happens is in your table for different makes is going to give the minimum and maximum values.
Hmm.
Right? So for both the variables, mileage in city and mileage in on highway.
Yeah.
Yes. So similarly, can you please execute the code with by statement? What is the important thing to be kept in mind whenever you use a by statement?
Should be sorted data, right?
Yeah. So before you use a by statement on make, first we have to make sure if the data set is already sorted by make, you will not have a problem. Otherwise, you'll get an error saying the variable is not sorted. So you'll have to use a proc sort and sort it by make. So before you use a by statement, it's a good practice to use proc sort just to make sure that it is sorted. Dataset SAS dot cars by make, and then use your by statement in proc means. Yeah, once you execute this both class and by statements, can please tell me what is the difference between the two, if there is any?
Getting some error.
I'll just make you the presenter. What is the error?
Says that
Go to your log window.
updating provision value.
Okay, you can't sort directly on SAS help. You'll have to make a copy of it into your work and then sort it. But since you've got the result, is it your earlier result?
No, it's not that result.
So only your
Earlier one, I think. No, this one is the active one.
it is a current one only.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but just that your proc sort has not got executed, and just because your make is by default sorted by, so your dataset cars is by default sorted by make, you don't have any problem and you have the result with a by statement. Yes, so this is how the result looks like. So can you tell me if there's any difference between using a by statement or a class statement in proc means?
Yeah, I'll just run.
Sure, please rerun and go through it and see if there's any difference in the result. So here's the result that we have for when we use a class statement. we have the list of values with different make. We have the max.
Listing down the number of periods.
Sorry, Shashi, come again, please.
Yeah, I think it was listing down when we use class statement, given the number of observations
Yeah.
under every category.
Yes.
Uh, well, we use this by, I think it is more of a sort of classified view.
Yeah. So what happens
Like,
is,
you don't have the number of observations.
yeah, what happens is in case of class statement, you get the result in a single table.
Yeah.
You have the result of different values of makes into a single table, whereas in a by statement, you have it at separate tables. You have a different table for every make and its respective statistics, right? And one more thing, important thing is, when you're using a class statement, you need not be worried or concerned about checking whether it is sorted or not by that particular variable.
Yeah.
But when you're using a by statement, you'll have to make sure that it is sorted by the variable that you're using in your by statement.
Any error like any variable class not found.
Yeah, you can't do by class, right? You will have to use you'll have to use it as by make or class make, the way we are using here. Yeah, you can't use it as by class because class is a statement here.
Okay, so Uma, if I say, in the same thing, rather than min max, if I would have said average or anything like that,
Yeah.
Which is more dependent on number of observations. And when I say, class, we use the class statement.
Yes.
So I hope it is grouping, only those observations and will give a mean or median for those particular,
Correct. Yes.
selected class.
Yes. So let's do that. Let's say our invoice and engine size and horsepower, right? Let's classify it. I'm not specifying any statistics, I want all of it, and let's classify it by cylinders. Yeah, so now we know that a cylinders is not sorted. Yeah, but still we are using it in a class statement without sorting it beforehand, and we're not specifying any other specific statistics, so we'll get a default statistics of proc means. Got the result?
Yeah, my cylinder.
let's just see. So you will get n, minimum, maximum, mean and standard deviation for engine size and horsepower classified by cylinders, that is number of cylinders. Yeah, so but you always keep it in mind that when you're using a class or a by statement, the variable that you use along with it has to be a categorical variable. So what is meant by a categorical variable? Even if it's numeric values into it, it has to be different categories. You cannot, it would not make sense if you try to use a continuous valued variable in it. So it's still running here. So this is how we use a proc means procedure and the statements that you can use along with it. But if you notice, you're getting the result in just a print view, right? It is not being saved anywhere in any data set. Am I right? Yeah. So in case you want to save the results into some data set, what do? You would do proc means data equals dataset name yeah, and so let's specify n mean and max, specify the variables for which we want the result. Class make, and before we complete this, we can write an output statement. So in your output statement, you will have to specify the file which is going to be an output file. So output out is going to be your destination file. Yeah. So this is the earlier run that's got executed. So these are different values for cylinders, number of observations under each one of them, and the respective statistics. Yeah, in the first value, for the first there is a blank value for standard deviation. Why is that so?
It's not able to calculate, right?
Yeah, because there's only one. Yeah, there's only one observation, right? So this is how your result will look like. So now let us see, in case we want to output this into a data set, because this is again a print view only. This is not being saved anywhere. In case you want to save your result onto some data set, what you can do is use a output out statement. So I'll say cars underscore means. This is my output data set. Where is this going to be saved? This will be saved in my work library. Am I right? Because we have not specified any library name. Since there are two variables, So I'll have to give a variable name for mean. When the mean values that are being saved will be saved under the given variable name. M underscore, let me just make it simpler. Let's give standard deviation here. Yeah. So M underscore city and M underscore highway. Then I say standard deviation will be saved under the values of S underscore city and S underscore highway. Okay, so this is how my code look like. So I'm going to specify an output out statement where I specify the dataset name where the results have to be stored and the variable names under which the result will be stored. Is that okay? So let's execute this code and see how the result looks like.
So every time if we want to store the output,
Yeah.
that's the typical syntax we need to follow.
Yes,
Output
yes.
followed by out.
Yeah, the output statement followed by the destination data set with your out statement, and based on whatever statistics you have mentioned, you have to create variable names for that.
That's quite lengthy, right? Isn't there
Yeah, you can
Way
just
where-
do with without specifying the variable names, but the structure of the output will be little different. You can try out a code where you say output out and just the dataset name without specifying any of this, but the structure of it will be a little different.
Okay.
And what you can always do also is from the results, you can just, now when I've selected the table, can you see the marking that I have? I can always copy paste this table onto my Excel.
Okay.
It's going to take some time. Arpita, is it executed at your end?
Yeah, but yeah, I just need to open the data set.
Yeah. Can you please open the data set and I'll make you the presenter?
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Yeah, so scroll to your right. We will come back to what is underscore type underscore frequency underscore. So these are the values, the mean values, and further to your right you will have your city and highway values, right? Okay.
What is this?
Okay, now
okay,
let's
here,
see. What is underscore frequency underscore and underscore type underscore? Any? I think frequency you should be able to answer.
Number of.
Yeah, frequency is nothing but the number of values for which you have extracted the mean and standard deviation for the specified variables, right? So these are nothing but the number of observations under this particular make, or number of values under this particular make. Let's say Audi is 19 and BMW is 20, Ford is 23, Honda is 17, so on and so forth. Correct? And any idea what the type specifies here?
Type of variable is it?
No, it is value. So it will go on, type will go on keeping values like 0, 1, 2, so on. So here you see only 0 and 1. That is the level of classification.
Okay.
What is meant by that is, if you see where the type value is 0 and there is no value for make, you have frequency as 428. Correct? And keep scrolling right, and this is the overall average of mileage in city and highway across all different values of make. That is without classification. Got it? Whereas when it is, where it is 1, it is level 1 of first level of classification.
Okay.
Okay.
All like type 0 for all the observations.
Sorry, come again.
Type like when we have 0, it is for all the, because the frequency is 428.
Correct. So it is for all the observations without classifying it by make. Yeah, so where it is 1, then it says this is the first level of classification that is happening, and these are the number of frequencies and so on. If there's again a second level of frequency, if I say class, make and cylinders, then there'll be 2 levels of classification, right?
Okay.
So then it will give a different value for type. So this is this specifies the level of classification, and these two are the default. See, you don't see these values in your report when you print your report by simple proc means without an output statement. So these are the default values that will appear when you output your proc means result into a data set. Yeah, is that clear?
Yeah, just for my understanding. So is it creating 2 extra variables?
Yes.
Okay.
Over and above that we have specified, it is creating these 2 extra variables by default. In case you don't want to have these variables, then what you can do is, once the output is created, you can drop those variables using your drop statement.
Okay.
Okay, you can just try this code also as to what happens when you don't use mean and standard deviation part. You can try this later. Okay, the result will be the same, but the structure of the result will be different.
Okay.
Okay, so that is about proc means procedure, which gives you the summary statistics. So next we'll be seeing is a similar procedure called proc summary, which also gives you the basic summary statistics. But let's see what is the difference between proc means and proc summary. If both are giving us the basic statistics, then what is the difference? Yeah, can anybody try and execute this code and let me know what happens on running it?
Okay.
Giving error.
Yes, what does the error read?
Print. Neither the print option nor a valid output statement.
Correct. So what does it mean? When you run your proc summary, you cannot run it without explicitly mentioning an output statement or a print statement. So what happens in proc means is when you run it, by default you get a print result. What is meant by a print result is this window, right? It is printing your result. Your proc summary will not do that. It will not explicitly print the result unless and until you mention it. An explicit print option has to be given with a proc summary. Or
Also give like print data.
sorry.
Can instead of like print, can we also write proc print data?
No, that will only do a proc print procedure. You cannot club it with summary. So with proc summary, if you want to print, you will have to use a print option the way we are using it here. Or if you don't want to print it but just output it, then you can use a output statement. But either one of them has to be there. Okay, this is one difference. So please execute it with print statement and let's see if there's any other difference in the result.
Giving all the statistics for what's an MSR.
Yeah, can I make you the presenter, Alpata?
Output.
Yes, that's right. Yes, Shashi?
No, use statement. It is the same output
Yeah.
we had from proc means.
Yeah, but the difference is that you have to explicitly mention a print statement or
Print
a
statement.
output statement when you're trying to run this.
Yeah.
And similarly, the way we had used earlier, you can use different statistics here.
So, one use summary procedure.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So certain times when you're when you're running a series of codes together, wherein in between there is some procedure which is trying to give you the statistics, but you're not interested in a window popping up every time,
Okay.
that is when you use a proc summary. You just want the results to be populated and used elsewhere by saving it into a data set or whichever way. Then you can use a proc summary. Yeah, so let's say you're in the process of writing a macro or something wherein you are importing like 20 to 50 files into SAS, and then you're doing the initial processing of doing a proc contents, and then trying to see how is the data distribution by using a proc summary or means, and then doing the next steps. You're doing all of this in tandem, and then you would not require, it would be very uncomfortable if you have a window popping up every time a proc means procedure is executed. You just want the summary statistics to be executed, but you don't want a popping up window every time. You just want it to be saved in some output data set or use the results directly. So in that case you can use a proc summary, because this will not print unless and until you specify a explicit print statement.
Okay.
Got it?
So Uma, in that case, so far whatever we have been doing,
Yeah.
we almost every time we are getting this, output data, like the pop-up thing,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So if it is, typically a sequential process, to and so how would you suppress, this pop-up?
See, the thing
When
is,
they,
in case of proc steps, only you get a results when you're like this. Otherwise, it is just the output data that is being opened, output data set. Okay, and this default opening of a data set happens only in SAS Enterprise Guide or a SAS Studio. Otherwise, if you have
Okay.
noticed, the way in Proc Append or something, with a dataset does not open up by itself, right? So
Yeah.
in SAS base code, in SAS base software, your datasets will not open by default. You will have to
Alright.
explicitly double click the dataset location or use a proc print. So in those cases, it will not be a major concern, because if you're using major programming and SAS programming, or even some statistical analysis, you would be typically doing it on base SAS software only,
Okay.
unless and until it is some click and drop options. Yeah, so that way you need not.
In my case,
Uh-huh.
this car summary, the output what we created,
Huh?
it is not picking up any data as such. It has created that variable in workspace,
Uh-huh.
but I don't see any data, that has come up. I'm not sure if I went wrong.
No, can you just share? Can I make you the presenter?
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, yes?
You can see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can see your screen now. Open the.
That's good. That's not.
Open the output data.
Yeah.
This is go to your log. There is some error somewhere. Let's scroll up. Go up.
Okay.
It says there is some syntax error. Okay, it's because of the semicolon in your first this thing statement. Yeah, now it should work. Arpita, did you get the result for this?
Yeah, I got the result.
But you'll be able to see that the structure of the result is different when you don't specify the explicit variable values, like mean is equal to variable 1, variable 2.
Yeah.
Yeah? The structure of the output will be
Mm.
slightly different.
It is also showing underscore stack underscore
Yes,
variable.
yes. So even in your proc means it would be the same if you I asked you to try this code later, right? Without mean and standard deviation variable values in your output out statement. If you do that in proc means also you'll get a similar value. Let's just see the result and I'll let you know what it is. Yes.
It's still okay.
Yeah, it does take some time. It's just loading the page. It says
Yes,
execution is
sometimes it takes ages.
yeah
For
because
this.
it depends on the number of observations and the data set.
So it's better to use SAS Studio, isn't it?
I think so.
See, yeah, I think no, actually it is the internet speed also, Arpita. I think even I think from our end when we were using SAS Studio, sometimes it could take similar amount of time. Yeah, so even if you even in the proc means procedure, we did an output out statement and we specified the variable names. You remember, like for me, minimum invoice, minimum MSRP, so something like that. So when you don't do that, you will get a similar result. So you have underscore stat underscore because if you notice your statistical values are not the variables, they are the observations. Correct? The variable values are the have become the variables like invoice and MSRP. So if you want these statistical values to be your variables, then you will have to use that variable specification syntax by saying n is equal to n underscore invoice, n underscore MSRP, and something like that. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So because your variables are the remain invoice and MSRP remaining variables, the summary statistics has the different statistics like n, minimum, maximum, mean, and standard deviation have become observations. That is the reason you have a explicit variable by the name underscore stat underscore.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just taking the presenter control again. Yeah. So this is how your proc summary would work. Okay. So that was about proc means and proc summary, which will help you extract some basic statistics. So you can try out different statistics like skewness, kurtosis, standard error, so on and so forth. There are different options by using the same procedure. Okay. So now let's see how do we find the frequency of any particular set of values. That is by using a procedure called as proc yeah, proc dataset name SAS help.cars, and then in proc you use the statement tables. So what happens when you what do you do by specifying tables is you specify those variables whose frequency you want to find out. So frequency is nothing but the occurrence of a particular value, the number of times it occurs in a particular variable. Yeah, tables, let me say make, and let's say run. Similarly, let's say proc dataset name tables origin and make and drivetrain. Yeah, so let's execute these codes and see what the code result looks like.
It's showing 4 variables.
Yes, it would show 4 variables. What are those?
Frequency, cumulative frequency, and cumulative performance.
Yeah, so you would get the default result would be you would have frequency, cumulative frequency, then percentage and cumulative percentage based on the occurrences of values of the variable make that you have specified in your tables statement.
Oh,
Yeah, so this it's still running at my end. I'll make you the presenter so that we can view the result. Just excuse me. Yeah. Just excuse me for a second. Yeah, so here you have different values of make and it's giving you the frequency, percentage, cumulative frequency and cumulative percentage of those particular values,
yeah.
right? So we know that the frequency of Honda is 17 and the percentage is 3.97. Yeah, similar.
Why is table statement like
Well,
is it because it is tabulating it?
yes. It is because it tabulates the values, and with proc that's how, like, we have the way we have it with proc means the way we use var. Similarly, in proc you use tables to specify the variables that you want to tabulate.
Okay.
Percentages with the like Acura has so much percentage.
Yes, over. So let's say Audi has got 4.44%. So out of all the different makes of cars that are here in this data set, 4.44% of them are Audi. So that is what it is. Yeah. And what is meant by cumulative percentage? So here you can see, let's say for Ford, the cumulative percentage is 32.94 and the cumulative frequency is 141. How is that coming up there?
It's 27.57, the previous one.
Yes, here. Sorry, Ford is 32.94 and 141.
Yeah.
So can you explain how it is 141 and 32.94?
I think cumulative frequency is, it is, adding to the previous cumulative percent
Okay.
plus current of, the, say, observation.
Correct. So what happens in a cumulative frequency is it adds up all the values for the prior the frequency of the earlier make also. So when you say Acura is 7 and Audi is 19, so your cumulative frequency is going to be 26, which is nothing but 19 plus 7. Right. Similarly, BMW is 46, which is nothing but 20 plus 19 plus 7, or rather 20 plus 26.
Yeah.
Right. So when you reach the last observation, if you scroll down, I mean the last type of make in the table, it has to be, what should be the cumulative percentage?
100.
Yes, the cumulative percentage has to be 100, and the total should add up to the total number of values that are there in the make variable. That is 428.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is how you interpret the result of a frequency procedure, that is Proc Frec. You have frequency percentage, cumulative frequency and cumulative percentage. Correct? So as you said that yes, we are having 4 different values here, that is frequency, percentage, and cumulative frequency and cumulative percentage. So similarly, if we try to have multiple variables in our tables, what will happen? We will try that.
Giving 2 different tables.
Yeah, so basically it will give you 2 different tables. One is the values of origin and the other is values of make. Correct? So even there, what you would get, you would be getting frequency, cumulative frequency, percentage and cumulative percentage. So in case, let's say you're not interested in the cumulative values, or out of the 4 you are interested in only 1 or 2 values, that is like, let's say only frequency and percentage, we're not interested in cumulative values. So how you can do suppress the others is by saying no cumulative. So by giving no cumulative, you will not have the cumulative values.
So it's a / followed by no cumulative.
Yeah, if you don't want percentage, then you can say no percent.
Likewise for other like / and like if no cum and then no sequence.
Correct. Yeah, so that's how you can do it. So this is a simple way of using proc wherein you tabulate the frequency of certain set of values. So what if you want to create a cross tab? What is meant by a cross tab is nothing but a two-way table. You want to know, let's say, by origin, you want to know the frequency of or rather by cylinders. Okay, so let's do that. Proc dataset name, then we say tables, let's say make cross, so I use a asterisk cylinders. Right. So when I use multiple variables in my table statement without a asterisk between them, then I get individual tables. Okay, by using an asterisk or a cross between the two, then I create a cross tab which will give me a cross tabulation of the variables that I've specified in my table statement.
What is row percentage?
Yeah, so that is something important that we need to interpret and understand. I'm making the presenter, Arpita. Yeah, so here you have a cross tab of cylinders and the make. So leave aside the row percent and column percent for time being. Let us just concentrate on the frequency and the percentage. Okay, so let's take Acura. If you see, Acura is made only in two different types of cylinders. That is either a 4-cylinder or 6-cylinder, because the rest of the values are all zeros, right?
Yeah.
There are two models which have got 4 cylinders. There are two models which have got 5 cylinders. 6 cylinders. There are 5 models which have got 6 cylinders. Am I right?
Yeah.
And then the next part, that is the percentage. So 0.47% of the entire data set, of all the observations of the data set, are models of make Acura with 4 cylinders. Is that clear? 1.17%. Yeah, I'll just come again. So what is meant, firstly let's understand the frequency. What does this do? Means there are two models of cars which are of make Acura and of consisting 4 cylinders. Correct. Similarly, what does 5 signify here?
5 make of Akira and having 6 cylinders.
Correct. Yeah. So there are 5 models of cars which are of the make Acura and having 6 cylinders. Similarly, just see 1.17. 1.17% signifies what? 1.17% of all the car models that are there in this data set are of make Acura and are having 6 cylinders. Is that clear?
Yeah.
There are 0.47% of cars of make Acura and cylinders and having 4 cylinders. Okay, can you tell me what is 3.76% under BMW? BMW under 6 cylinders you have 3.76%.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So of the total, data set, there are 16 models
Yeah,
of make BMW that have got 6 cylinders, which
correct.
will quantify 3.76 of the overall.
Correct. Correct.
3.76% of the overall.
Right. So the frequency and percentages are clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now coming to row percent and column percent. Okay. So row percent is the so before we even go to each individual value, a row percent will give you a percentage across different cylinders, and a column percent will give you percentage across different makes.
Okay.
Okay, so just let's stay at that point. So let's come to BMW again. If you see, under my row percent I have 80% under 6 cylinders and 20% under 8 cylinders.
Yeah.
Correct. So if you add these two up, it is 100%. Right. So a row percent will be 100% for each and every make. Okay, so if I add up 16 and 4, which is 20, the total number of makes of BMW, then the row percent of that, the cylinders of, there are only two types, right? So there only it only has either 6 cylinders or 8 cylinders. So both put together, that has to be 100% of the cars.
Yeah.
Correct. So my row percent will give you the percentage of BMW cars of make cylinders 6 cylinders 6 only.
So in a way, we are saying that within a particular make,
Huh?
what is the spread of models
Across different types of cylinders.
across different types of cylinders? Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is my row percent. If you check for Audi, then you would have, if you add up, so it has got makes which has got 3 different types of cylinders. Either it is 4 cylinders, 6 cylinder or 8 cylinders. So it is 21.05, 52.63 and 26.32. So when you add these 3 things up, it has to be 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
so that is my row percent, and my column percent is again, it's the other way around. So if you add up the columns, that is say cylinders of value
Mm.
8, so 8 how many cars of different makes are having cylinders of make 8, then your columns, when you add them up, that has to be 100%.
But it is not
Mm.
always 100% in the row.
See, add this up. 28.57 plus 71 plus 71.43, this would be 100%. In column percent, when you see 8.42, you can't add 8.42 and 4.63. You will have to add 8.42, that is under BMW, with 5.26, which is under Audi, 2.63 under Acura, and similarly you have to add them along the observations. Okay, I'll
So,
just 1 second. Is that clear?
yeah. So, this column percent.
Okay, let me just explain this way. Can you explain the value? Can you just scroll down, please, Arpita? Just scroll down a little bit. Just a little. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay, so for let's say Hyundai. For Hyundai, we have our row percent as 50. What does that mean in both the cases?
Yeah, within Hyundai,
Hmm.
so with 4 cylinders and
8
that is
cylinder.
8 cylinders, the spread is 50-50.
Yeah, because there are six models under 8 cylinders and 6 models under 4 cylinders.
Yeah.
Correct. And when you
Mm.
come to column percent, it's different. It is 4.41 and 3.16.
Yeah.
How do I explain that? So when I say 4.41 is my column percent, it means out of all the models that are there, which are having
Mm.
4 cylinders, 4.4% of them are Hyundai.
Okay.
Okay, so
That is what you
3.16.
mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3.16 is of all the models that are there which are having 8 cylinders, 3.16 of them are Hyundai.
Yeah.
Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so Arpita, don't worry, just go through the result again. Let's do a simpler table so that we understand it in an easier fashion. Let me just take back the control. Let's let's do a simpler code, because make has got a lot of different values, right? So let's do proc, right? Dataset name. Tables. Type and origin. Okay, let's just run this code and let's see if we can interpret the results here.
Yeah.
It's executed, Arpita.
Yeah.
So
Cost.
yeah, I'm making you the presenter. Okay, so here we have different types and the across different origin values. Okay, yeah. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6 different types and 3 different origins. So can anybody explain? Here we have SUV percentage as 2.34. What does that mean?
So out of like
2.34.
10.2% out of
So 2.34 percentage of all the cars in this data set are of type SUV with origin as Europe. Correct? SUV type of cars, origin as Europe, there are 2.34 percentage of cars.
what is 10 then?
10 is the frequency. There are 10 number of cars.
Oh yeah, okay.
10 is just the frequency. There are 10 number of cars which are of type SUV and origin Europe.
Yeah, I'm just considering the
Yeah. So similarly under SUV and Europe we have 16.67 as my row percentage. So out of all the SUV cars of only SUV type, and we're not concerned about all the cars now, we're just concerned of about those cars which are of type SUV. Okay, only of all the SUV cars that are here, only 16.67% of them belong to Europe origin. They have been originated from Europe, right? And now let's say column percentage, that is 8.13. So now we are not concerned about the different origins. We are just concerned about the cars that are originally made in Europe. Those which are made in Europe, out of that SUVs are only 8.13%. Getting it?
So the total here Uma is only the frequency and no.
Okay, the total that you see here in the last column is just the total of your frequency and the total of the percentage. It is you will not have row percent and column percent totals. Yeah, because it doesn't make sense, right? Your row percent will be 100% row wise and column percent will be 100% column wise. Am I right? Is it making sense? I hope it's clear now.
Yes.
Yeah, you can just try a couple more examples so that you can understand it better. Okay, so again similarly there are too many values like row percent, column percent, frequency and percentage. If I want to suppress some of them, like I'm not interested in my row percent and column percent, I can say no row, no col. By doing this, using this option, I suppress the row percent and column percent. Okay, so you can try out this code, and you can try and make a three-way table also with using a asterisk and some other categorical variable here, and see if you can make sense of the report that you get. Okay, so guys, so we'll call it a day here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's connect up tomorrow same time.
Yeah, I have like 3 questions regarding the.
Yes, please.
Can you just wait for some time?
Sorry, I didn't get you, Arpita.
Can you just wait for some time, moment? I have to check.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely fine. So Shashi will connect up with you tomorrow.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you so much. Yeah. Yes,
you.
Arpit. Yeah. Have a good day.
Good day.
Sorry.
Yeah, I got the mail of your account details.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you that can I just split the amount like after like for base and advance?
Yes, you can do that. What you can do is you can pay, about 8,000 or 10,000 now, and you can pay the remaining 5,000 later, like next week or a week after that.
Okay, so when will the like all the base and advance both the sessions will like approximate?
I'll tell you. Just give me a minute. Let me just open my calendar. It will get over by. Let's say by 27th or 28th Feb.
Like the whole course, right?
Yes, the entire course. Or maximum by 1st March. 28th Feb is what is there as per the calendar. But considering the session that we have missed, because see, now we have covered most of the topics of base SAS. Okay, tomorrow we will be doing the functions part. So once we do functions and then some in-file statements, with that SAS base will be done. Then we will start with proc SQL and macros.
So I was just looking through your website, Uma, and like in the calendar it was mentioned that you will have some like break for 1 day or.
Yeah, we can have that. What we will do is once we finish SAS base part, that is using arrays and loops and functions. These are the 3 important topics remaining. So most likely by the end of this week or something, by Friday or by Monday, we'll be able to finish base SAS. Okay. Then what we can do is you can just we'll have a brief discussion between you and Shashi. We will be given a simple test and you'll be given an assignment also. 2 assignments are more there for base SAS. Okay. So once you give that test and once you do the assignment, if you feel okay, you want to take a 2-day break and then cover up with just brush up and get comfortable with whatever you have done so far and then continue, you can always do that. Otherwise, if you feel okay, let's go ahead with it and finish off the advanced program also. Then what you can do is you can take like a 2-week break. That is basically complete the whole course. Okay, complete the whole course. Then after 2 weeks, we can schedule a 1-week session of 1 hour every day. Or we can have a weekend session of like 3 hours or 4 hours, wherein we can revisit and discuss all the doubts and queries that you have. We can discuss the assignments and some exercise questions and stuff like that. So that is we can do that after your base SAS, or we can do that after the entire program also. And I'm sure by now you would have got an idea. We are not very hard and fast and particular about the number of hours and the number of sessions. Okay, as the first target, the reason we say that okay, these are the number of hours and these are the number of sessions is just to make sure that the said topics will be covered. So the target is to complete the set topics in that time, and after that also we can keep having, like, if you want a weekly 1 session you want wherein we can discuss certain topics and help you with your SAS certification preparation, we can do that. Okay.
So like
So
after the course, like I might need some help from you.
yes, absolutely. Arpita, you don't even have to say that. You will be getting all the help from our end. We can schedule sessions like once a week or every weekend. We can have 2 hours even after the session. That is not a problem at all.
Okay. So okay,
Okay.
Uma, then I'll just I'll make the payment. Like
Yeah, you can comfortably make a part payment. Like you can either pay 8 or 10,000 now, and then the remaining in the next week or something like that, whichever is convenient.
yeah, okay. And one more thing, Uma, actually Friday I have some other class like in during this time. So can we like schedule it
Some other time. Yeah, I will
yeah, like
just Friday, right? Okay,
yeah,
I'll just
schedule
coordinate. I'll coordinate with Shashi also and see if we can have a same session on Saturday or which way we can do.
okay, because yeah, every Friday I'll have the session. I'll have the class actually.
Okay,
Zoom.
okay, okay. Not to worry. We can just sort it out. Don't worry about that.
Okay, so like anytime, like if you want it after, because I think Sashi has to go for work, so after 8 p.m. or 6 p.m. IST, that is also fine with me.
Okay, okay. I will just find out, Arpita. I think only for Friday we can have an evening session, or we'll make the required arrangement.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
You are the last party in the conference.